You touch on a point that I don't want to let go real quick here, is that this idea of ownership, right? If you've ever worked with a team, the person that comes up with the idea tends to run with it a lot faster than everybody else, right? Because they feel ownership in it, and nobody likes failing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they fail on something that they brought up, they have tons more conviction towards it, right? And it's the same thing with your clients. If they fail on something you told them, then they'll just fire you and go to another advisor and be like, that person's wrong. Like they don't get me. I'm going to go find someone else that does it. But if you help them come to it their way and you ask questions and you build that ownership to them, then they're going to feel it on themselves that have to go and do it. I love that idea. And you can take that from like leadership and everything that we do with running teams. And you're 100% spot on. Now the question gets to, let's dig in, let's peel this onion back. Like, how do we cultivate conviction with our clients without telling them and helping them lead them to that way?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty funny. The way to do it's probably really simple. And that is if you've done a really good job of understanding what it is that's important to them, why it's important to them to accomplish it, where they're at financially, you've done a good job building trust and connection so that they know that you're the person to deliver the outcome that they want, right? Then it should be pretty simple if you've laid everything out to basically ask them, what do you think is the next best thing to do? So, now there's times where there's an obvious number one thing that needs to be done, right? Like, so if you have no will, no estate plan whatsoever, if something's a wreck and you need to get back in order, there are times where you need to prioritize, right? Based on like, this has to be done first. And that's where it's your job as the professional to say, hey, like this is something that we have to do first if they don't identify it themselves, right? But just by simply asking the question of, hey, based on everything we've talked about today, everything we've gone over, you this is what's important to you. You can even have a list of, hey, here are the like things that we see, the things that we recommend that you do. What would you say is the number one, or what would you say is most important to get done in your mind? What do you want to accomplish first? Right? And it sounds so simple, right? But you're just asking them to identify in order to get where they told you that they want to go, right? In order to be able to take more time to take their family to take their family to Disney World a couple times a year. What are the things that they need to do in order to do that? So it's just as simple as asking, hey, what is it what do you want to do? What sticks out to you? What do you want to try and address first? Now, if they say something that based on your planning knowledge, right, that it shouldn't come first, or something, there's a glaring red flag that needs to come first, that's a different conversation. You can have that conversation. But just asking the question around what is it that you want to do and getting agreement that that's the next best action to take. So, but the second way that you tie in conviction, and this is one of those small, subtle changes you can make that makes a huge difference, makes the world a difference, is when you're making recommendations, if you have a document or a piece of paper that's your implementation document or your recommendations with bullet points or your analysis of what needs to be done, is tying it to their why, tying it to their purpose. So you're not saving an extra $575 a month for retirement. You're saving an extra $575 a month to spend more time with your family in Disney World, because that's what you've said is important to you. Retirement wasn't important, but the ability to dial back and take your family to Disney World 2 times a year and stay in these hotels and go to the parks and everything like that, everything that they tell you about that's the why. Spending time with family is why they're saving it, not retirement. So when you're in a situation where you're thinking, hey, I want to buy a new car, and you go and you have the new car smell, you're not going, hey, do I want to buy this new car or do I want to retire? You're going, do I want to buy this new car or do I want to spend money, or I want to save that money so I can go take my family to Disney World twice a year? And I think you can hear the difference in that, right? And so the more conviction you can cultivate by identifying what's truly important and giving somebody a bigger why, the more conviction they have in implementing the actual advice.